Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for the final reveal of the British Armoured car 1/72 scale by Rodin. And you may recall that this is my entry into the Braille scale build-off that's been hosted by Chris, otherwise known as Braille scale. The last time we saw this, it was part way through construction, and I'd done the front and the turret, and there was just the back to do. Now the back did give me some issues. I think it was Panzerman Bonker Bill who mentioned that Rodin kits tend to be butt jointed as opposed to having location pins, and I think that's why I struggled at the back, because I was having problems properly aligning stuff. The other thing that I found, I was putting, I think, the last two bits on, which were the headlights, and it was no, it was the two steps at the back. There's a couple of steps that people could use to get into the vehicle, and I realised that because I hadn't quite aligned stuff on the chassis, it caused issues in the back as well. So I was a bit disappointed after my initial euphoria of doing really well with this kit. I'm still counting it 2 and 2, 2 wins and 2 losses, and this is my second win because I like how the kit looks now. Just to give you a bit of background about this kit, I was right. The Armoured car in this kind of format was first introduced in 1914. In fact, I think it was sent to the front in December 1914 after the Royal Flying Corps approached the Ministry of Defence and wanted to create some armoured car squadrons, which is possibly the reason why they're called squadrons. And interestingly, when they were asked what chassis they were going to use for their armoured car, they said the Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost. Can you imagine today the RAF going to the Ministry of Defence and saying, we'd like to create an armoured car? And the Ministry of Defence going, well, of course, yeah, we've got the Range Rover, the Land Rover, both excellent cars. And the RAF going, no, we were going to base it on Aston Martin. So they did that. They had their own design and created the first lot of armoured cars using the Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost chassis. As I say, this one was changed in 1920 and went on to serve in Egypt. I think it also served in Ireland as well. Lawrence of Arabia had 9 of them for his battle against the Turks with the Arab revolt, and I think he actually called them, so it must have been in Arabic, more precious than rubies or something. And the journalist later on, after the Turkish-Arabic War, asked Lawrence of Arabia what he would like most in the world, and he actually said that he would like a Rolls-Royce with a lifetime supply of tyres and petrol. So without further ado, I shall get the kit and we'll have a look at it together. And here she is, guys. I decided to go for the vehicle that was on the shown on the back of the box, which is Royal Tank Corps Derbyshire Anti-Invasion Patrols in 1939, the one that's preserved at Bovington Tank Museum. The colour is Vallejo's flat green, and that's the colour that they call out on the box, which is 968. Now, a first for me, because the flat green is actually model colour, it's not model air by Vallejo, so I had to mix, I had to thin it down in order to put it through the airbrush, which is the way I wanted to paint this one. So I looked up on the internet, and Vallejo do a few videos about their paints, and they recommend a 50-50 mix of their thinner and the paint. So there was a bit of trepidation about whether that would work. Fortunately it did, although part way through spraying it I ran out of the mix and had to mix some more. So initially the vehicle was primed black, which is the standard Chaos black from Games Workshop in the rattle can. then sprayed with Vallejo's flat green. Once that was dry, I was still down in the garage. I cleaned out the airbrush using airbrush thinner again because I hadn't got any cleaner. And once that was running clear, not that it really mattered, I used some clear floor polish to put a gloss coat on the build, and then let that dry. Brought it up to the house and put the decals on. There's only 3 decals for this particular kit. Then I just brush painted some clear varnish on those, sealed them in, and then once that was dry I did a sludge wash with my black pastels, water and a bit of washing up liquid. Put that all over, and then once that was dry I wiped it all off. Sorry, I didn't wipe it all off, I wiped it off the flat surfaces and tried to leave it just in the detail. Then I realised that I needed to paint the headlights in a gloss black, so I used the Citadel's Abaddon black, and then once that was dry I used some clear floor polish again just to gloss that up. I did the headlights and the searchlight on the top, and the interior of those in Vallejo's Model Air Chrome. Once that was dry, you can possibly see some white. I'll just turn it now so you can see it more clearly. So I used this, which I used time and time again, micro crystal clear, because Rodin, I believe, don't give you the lenses for the lights. I decided to try and create lenses with that crystal clear. That is a very old bottle. There was a lot of skin or whatever on the top of the inside the lid, and I had to pull that out, and there was quite a lot inside as well. And I managed to get to the liquid itself, but it has been a couple of hours since I've applied it and it's not drying. I'm a bit concerned that it may have gone off if it can, and it's just going to stay white. It's not going to clear up on me, so I'll have to see. If that is the case, then I'll have to take that out of there and perhaps just see if some wood glue will sort it out. The last thing that I painted up was the wheels, sorry, the tyres, which were painted in Vallejo's dark rubber. The basket for the picnic was initially painted in Citadel's Rhinox hide, which is this dark brown. Then it was given a dry brush of Doonball brown, and then the straps were finished in Scrag brown. And I think that is basically it. I didn't do any highlighting on this kit at all. I just left it for the sludge wash to darken some areas and highlight others. So it's finished, but I think I've probably mentioned that there were some issues with this kit. The running boards where the baskets sat, I don't know how Rodin were expecting you to fit those from the instructions. What I would recommend is not fitting the running boards when they suggest. Put this back part on first. So you've got a piece that comes down here, and you've got the mud guard here. Well, there's a flat piece there and there's a flat piece there. Then fit your running boards on. What they would have you do is fit your running boards onto the chassis, onto this part, and there are 2 supports that fit on the chassis underneath, but I couldn't find how they located onto that chassis. I really couldn't. So in the end, what I did was I chopped them off. I chopped the supports off, and it was almost like freestanding until I put this back piece on, and then and then that back piece fitted on. I hadn't fitted the running board on the other side, and so I fitted the running board on after I put this back piece on, so it was much easier. So I recommend doing that. I think I may have mentioned in the introduction video to this build that the wife had voted to when I was asking you to vote for which kit I should build first, and in her comment she put build the smallest so it wouldn't take up too much space. Well, to give you some idea of how small this vehicle is, I'll just get a Vallejo pot and put it alongside it so you can see. So there you go. She's a very happy bunny because this isn't going to take up much room on the shelf, as it's smaller than a pot of Vallejo paint. So that's it for this build. It'll go on the shelf. Another addition to my British armoured vehicles. I will certainly be doing more builds for this grid build, because as you know it's my favourite scale. I don't know which one I'll be choosing next. I won't be doing a vote. Thanks ever so much for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. Look after yourselves. I hope you're having a great weekend, and I'll catch up with you soon.